Toi te ara puoru, Sounds.
E ngā reo, e ngā mana, rauranga tira mā, tēnā koutou katoa. Talofa lava, kamna Māori, pakalofalahi atu, and warm Moana greetings. You're with the podcast series SOUNZ Podcast, Culture, Music, and Climate Change from a Kiribati lens for SOUNZ Centre for New Zealand Music, Aotearoa. Ko Tau'ili'ili Alpha Maiava ahau, o Leoné o Tau'ili'ili Alpha Maiava.
You're my bestie, my bestie, my bestie.
That is My Bestie, written and performed by Betaia Nehemiah, a well-known music composer, vocalist, producer, and a strong advocate for the youth of his island nation of Kiribati. Born on the island of Peru, one of the small islands that makes up the Republic of Kiribati, Betaia is the youngest of 3 children and is a father of 5 himself. In the second episode of this 3-part series, Betaia walks us through how climate change impacted his life, Kiribati society as a whole, and his wish for his people as they navigate the then, the now, and the incoming generation wherever in the world they will settle. Where is, in terms of the traditional music, the indigenous music of Kiribati, how much do you believe of the efforts in Kiribati to maintain them?
Yeah, I think they are adopting more of, the imatang, music nowadays, the way I hear it, and our sounds of Kiribati is vanished, starting to, because I remember, I have to be honest, I remember when I was in the band and I always ask, what is our sound, What is our original sound like music, Kiribati music sounds like? And then one of the guys introduced me to that. I'll take you to one guy that he sings the Kiribati version. And it's called the Tau'ili'ili, that they call that style of singing.
What does it mean? Oh,
The Tau'ili'ili, when they sing, they put their hand over here and they sing.
So they could hear the note and the echoes of sound over their ear.
Yeah.
Right? Mm.
But they call it the Tau'ili'ili. So I went to these locals and there was this person sitting on, and a woman, old lady, sitting on an elevated house. We call it the buia. Weaving mats, And she was sitting there singing that song. And that's the first time I heard that tune in my life, and I was like, what? Is that really our sound? Then we went there, I sit there with that lady, and I told her, can you sing another one? And she kept on singing, man. I can't remember, I can record this sound in my head up until now. And it's really, really interesting to hear it. And I was like, you know what? I wasn't brought up in Kiribati, I was brought up somewhere else. Mm-hmm. And now I'm into music now, and that's one thing that I really want to know. What is our original sound, Kiribati's original sound? And I'm glad I hear it from you.
If you were to describe it, is there anything that we may know of that has similar to that, or is it very unique on its own? And how can you describe it?
I think it's...
Well, you can hum it if you want.
Well, when I first came to New Zealand, and I remember we went to a marae, and they were doing a pulpiri or something. Mm. Yeah, and this lady was singing a song and welcoming us. Yeah. Mm. And when I heard the tune, and it's quite similar to what I've heard, I was like, hey. Then after that, after the meeting, and I went over to this lady and I talked to her. Yeah, I really like the sound, when you're singing and, calling us to come in. You know what? It's very similar to our sound as well, as Kiribati sound. because I've heard that in Kiribati. And how do you sing it? Then I hum it to her. And she goes, oh, that's way different from ours. Yes, way different, but, like the rhythm of it is the same, I'm like, oh, really? Yeah. You want me to sing another one?
Can you sing a little bit of what that old lady sang that you can remember?
Like the Ia taia nanga ia manika vena koain. Those, and they sometimes they use for like, like a welcoming song to foreigners, something like that. And sometimes they could dance with it. They make a dance with the song, Yeah.
I love that. It sounds very. What's the word?
Something like that. Yeah.
It's very similar in its own way to a lot of our traditional singings before what's the word again for Palangi?
Imetang.
Before the Imetang arrived. The reason why that is, it's because a lot of our singing were very simple. And they were based on the sounds around us.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Now, what was the sound that surrounded Kiribati? Ocean. Birds. What do you hear when you're on top of the high house?
Yeah.
You hear waves and these motions. And so when you sing back what you hear from nature.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And part of what's now, I would say, diminishing is our kids' preference for that singing. And sometimes it's because they don't like it, but it's because it's no longer the natural sound they hear every day.
Exactly.
Now, when you go out in the street, all you hear is or reggae, or everybody humming the 4/4 kind of keynotes,
Yeah.
But gone are the days when the sound of our ancestors was the sound of nature. Because I bet you that song, I'm just guessing from what I've heard of other Pacific Islands, other Moana Islands, it's probably about a yearning of love, welcoming on the ocean.
Yeah.
You remind me of a tree that once belonged to our house. You remind me of a flower that is so dear. So now that you're here, welcome. But understand when you go, I will miss you.
Yeah.
And they put it all in this. Because same in Samoan too, same in Tonga, same in Viti. But they all write about the yearnings of the heart because people write song. Most Western composers write about subjects.
Yeah.
We write about space. Huh? A lot of traditional songs. Doesn't matter where you go. We write about songs. Oh, welcome to the realm that is so holy and mighty.
Yeah.
Here passed a warrior that came from this island to that island.
Yeah.
But on this very spot, he left or said these words.
Yeah.
Now that you are here, welcome the same way, And we always write about the space.
Yeah.
We never write about a subject or a topic.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I'm imagining, just like the karanga is welcoming people into this space, I'm imagining that lady. Can I guess that she probably was singing about something similar?
Yeah. She was singing about, all about, what she's calling like the stars and the heavens and the sun and the wind and the waves.
Because our people, we acknowledge, see, like I said, right? What do we acknowledge? The things around us.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nowadays, it's all about bling bling and, I got money and I got dollar, subjects and topics. Whereas those songs were an acknowledgement of the nature that we live together with.
Yeah.
One of the most interesting thing about Kiribati that most Pacific Islanders always want to know is when we look at nature and climate change.
Yeah. Some of the islands that I used to know, which is, I always see it in the middle of Tarawa Atoll. This island is called Pikeman. Pikeman is meaning the land that will never die.
Wow.
It's an endless land. Pikeman man means like endless. Pike is like a soil that is endless, and that's the meaning of picky man. When I went back to Tarawa, that island is gone, man. It's been washed out. And it's like what you call it, like an iceberg, like floating in the middle of Tarawa now. Because it's all white. You can't even see trees anymore. It's been wiped out.
The sand, huh?
Yeah. And we went on a boat to go onto that island. What happens? You can see all salt water bubbling.
Wow.
Out from, underground. It's bubbling. You taste it, it's not water, it's salt water. Brackish. And that's the sad thing. I was like, man, I'm so sad about this climate change. And there's a lot of people saying that, even a lot of people that, some of them affected their minds, because some of them, they reckon when they were little, they always, their dad took them, or the family always take them to that island.
To their homeland.
And it's
now
like,
that the homeland is gone?
It's gone. And I can hear, every time I talk to some people, they said, oh yeah, we missed that island, which is normally existed, and now it's gone. So what's happening? It's just, that's the, it's so painful. And I was like, even myself, because when I was little, I remember I was in Tarawa, and that's the first island I saw it. And it's so beautiful because it was right in the middle of the island. Because Tarawa is like, it's like a V shape. And in the middle was that island, Picky Man. And it was so beautiful. A lot of people always want to go there just to chill out with their family. Sometimes you can just paddle out on a canoe, just go there with your family and have a picnic on that island. It's a lovely island, very peaceful island, and the breeze is nice. And I've been there with my dad and my family as well, my two sisters when I was little, and it's so
If it was up to you, what would President Betaia Nehemiah would have done differently?
For me, I think with the recent climate change, I think for me, we can't do much. If we're seeing our people that they are affected by this disaster, why not we do something, for them, to displace them to somewhere safer for them, because, some people, every time I talk to some locals when I go back to the islands, I always say this: what do you do when the Kiribati is sinking? What are you guys gonna do? Which is gonna be happening soon. They go, we this is our motherland. We love our land, so we're gonna sing with it.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't matter that we just hate this government that is repatriating our people to, displacing them. They putting them in other countries where they don't belong. We're losing our culture, but I think we'll die with our culture. We'll die with our, we go down with everything we have. And I was like, oh, that was sad. But if from my side, if I were like a president or something, or the leader, I would do the same thing. I was like, oh yeah, imagine if you're a captain on the boat and your boat is sinking. See the story of Titanic, when the boat is sinking, the captain said, I'm going with my boat, even some of the crew on the boat as well. I'm going with but we're going down, we build it and I skip it, So it's my boat. I'm going down with it. So it's the same thing with our island. It's always like our waka. It's like our boat. Because they love it. They.
Now we're speaking. We have a few minutes left. I've got a few questions now. We are now speaking. President Betaia Nehemiah is now speaking to future musicians of Kiribati. We don't know where they're going to be. And the way Kiribati is going, I could be speaking to a Kiribati community in Ukraine. Right, because we're currently in Turangi. I didn't even know islanders live in Turangi.
Yeah, they will one day, they'll just, everybody will be going their ways, their own ways. And you never know, they ended up, let's say Australia, America. everywhere in the world, you name it.
So let's speak to them. 100 years from today, what is your message to composers of Kiribati, musicians, and what is your message to the people of Kiribati in general from the heart of whatever topic? So let's start with your message to the future musicians of Kiribati.
My message to my people is that, because I've seen them, like, on and off, in their music career, and I know that there wasn't any platform there that is backing them up, and I encourage all my the people of Kiribati, wherever they live, in part of the world, different part of the world. My encouragements to them is, to keep that spirit of music, never let that spirit out of them, because that spirit is a spirit that comes from the water where we connect from. Like you're saying, it's a Moana,
Now let's talk to the future Kiribati. What's the desire of your heart for your people? Moving forward now, wherever they are.
My desire for my people, I think, is, let's just keep our culture, and even though we're moving in different places, and we will be starting to forgetting that, because we're in a different world. I mean, it's a modern world, compared to where we come from, we, it's like before, we used to live in, houses that were made from, coconut tree, parts and stuff, like that, mist strips, whatever. And now we're living in such, a glass, some houses like they're brick house, something like that. And even modern technology that we're living in these days. And for my people, I think wherever they are in the globe, they have to keep that in them, and never forget about, what we call it, arakate. Arakate is like our culture, muengara, our roots, where we come from. They will always have to remember that, not forgetting them. They need to keep cultivating where they are, It doesn't matter what certain places they are right now, in certain places. And my encouragement to them is that they have to keep on moving with this.
This podcast was produced and presented for Sounds, Centre for New Zealand Music, Aotearoa by me, Tau'ili'ili Alpha Maiava, funded by the Stout Trust. The sound engineer is Phil Brownlee, and music by Betaia Nehemiah. Thank you, Aloha Pito, ko pas nirapa to our guest, Betaia Nehemiah. For more about this podcast and other Sounds podcasts, and information about the music of Aotearoa New Zealand, go to the Sounds Podcast website, sounds.org.nz. That's SOUNZ. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Māloa pito, whawhetai te lava.
Toi te ara puoru, Sounds.